Attention, sharp minds and quiet souls. Wednesday is approaching, and it carries a hidden force few will notice. Subtle shifts are already stirring in the air. Energies that can awaken insight, ignite clarity, and redirect the flow of your life in ways that may seem almost invisible at first. This is not a day like any other. It is a threshold, a subtle portal where the alignment of mind, body, and spirit can reveal paths that have been waiting silently for your readiness. I am Xie Heng Yi, and today we will explore the hidden patterns shaping the hours ahead. You will learn how this particular day can amplify your inner strength, sharpen awareness, and open doors to personal mastery. Ancient Shaolin wisdom teaches that timing is never accidental. The universe moves in rhythms, and those attuned to its pulses are granted moments of quiet yet powerful transformation. Many overlook the quiet signals of energy and intention. This coming Wednesday carries shifts that touch not only the mind but also the body and spirit. The insights shared here will guide you to recognize these signals, align with them, and navigate life with a deeper sense of purpose and balance. By the end of this video, you will understand how to harness subtle currents that often go unnoticed, turning ordinary moments into catalysts for growth and mastery. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, a place where ancient teachings meet the modern seeker. Stay with us until the end, for the wisdom within could transform how you perceive the coming day, and perhaps your life itself. Subscribe now and step into the rhythm of awareness, clarity, and silent power alongside our growing community of seekers. Silence holds more truth than words ever could. In the stillness between breaths, the mind reveals its patterns, the heart its hidden currents. In these moments, mastery quietly begins, not in movement, but in observation. Long ago, the monks of Shaolin discovered that before a single strike, before a single motion, one must first witness oneself fully. Every thought that rises, every emotion that stirs, every impulse that presses for action is like water flowing in a river. If unobserved, it carries us where it wills. If watched with clarity, it becomes a mirror, reflecting what is real and what is illusion. Observe without judgment. Notice the flicker of irritation when someone speaks harshly, the swell of doubt when plans falter, the rush of desire that seeks fulfillment outside yourself. These are not weaknesses to suppress. They are signs, markers along the path. Awareness transforms them from chains that bind into keys that unlock choice. Most live in drift, carried by the currents of habit, reacting as if pulled by unseen tides. A Shaolin warrior learns to pause in that drift, to breathe, to see, to name each thought and feeling. In that space, small, still, profound, action becomes conscious. One can move with intention, not impulse, respond with clarity, not reaction. Even the simplest decision, when taken from this place of observation, ripples outward with precision. Life itself becomes less chaotic, less tangled, because mastery has begun not with doing, but with seeing. Awareness before action is the first step toward sovereignty over the self, the quiet art that shapes every choice, every path, every moment yet to come. In the heart of quiet, the world softens. The clamor of thought, the pull of desire, the weight of expectation, all settle like dust in a still room. It is here, in the calm between breaths, that the mind begins to speak clearly, and the heart reveals what has long been hidden. Ancient masters understood that stillness is not emptiness. It is a space alive with insight where the noise of the outer world cannot reach. Within this silence, the mind learns to distinguish between fleeting impulse and enduring truth. A single moment of pause can illuminate a path that hours of restless action cannot uncover. Mindfulness teaches that awareness deepens when movement ceases. Thoughts are observed without judgment. Feelings are acknowledged without resistance. In stillness, intuition rises, not as a voice demanding, but as a gentle guide pointing toward what is essential. Decisions taken from this space carry a weight and precision born of clarity, not chaos. The warrior who moves from stillness does not act from fear or habit, but from understanding. Every gesture, every choice, every step becomes deliberate, measured, aligned with purpose. Life unfolds differently when rooted in this calm observation. The storms of emotion no longer dictate direction. Challenges that once felt overwhelming are met with presence and balance. Even the simplest interactions gain depth and meaning when the mind is quiet and attentive. Stillness cultivates discipline, not through force, but through the subtle mastery of oneself. It is a practice both ancient and timeless, a method by which the inner world informs the outer. In these quiet moments, one discovers that power is not in constant doing, but in knowing. Clarity, patience, and subtle strength arise when stillness is honored, revealing the truths that guide every choice and shape every path forward. True strength often hides in the quiet act of restraint. Discipline is misunderstood by many as limitation, as a cage built around desire. Yet, in the teachings of the ancient Shaolin, discipline is the path to freedom, a liberation of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Without it, even the sharpest skill or the keenest mind drifts, pulled by impulse and habit. With it, the smallest action gains power. Every choice becomes intentional, and life moves with clarity rather than chaos. The Shaolin warrior measures strength not by how fiercely one strikes, but by how deliberately one holds back. To resist the urge to react hastily, to pause before responding to anger or temptation, is to cultivate an inner fortitude that cannot be taken by circumstance. Each moment of restraint strengthens the invisible muscles of self-mastery, building a foundation that supports every decision and every path chosen. Discipline manifests in simple, intentional practices, rising with the first light, tending to the body with mindful movement, speaking only after thought, dedicating time to reflection. All are threads woven into a life aligned with purpose. Even small routines, repeated with care, accumulate into a force that guides actions beyond mere habit. Over time, the external world feels less chaotic because the internal world has been ordered. Freedom does not come from chasing desire or avoiding challenge. It comes from mastering the self, from training the mind to move with intention rather than impulse. In this paradox, the one who holds firm in discipline experiences the widest reach of freedom, freedom from distraction, from unnecessary suffering, from the endless pull of fleeting wants. True liberation is subtle, quiet, and measured, and it begins the moment a single choice is made, not out of impulse, but out of purpose. Emotions rise like waves, sudden and powerful, often sweeping the mind into turmoil. Yet, within these currents lies a hidden lesson. What is usually seen as fear, anger, or doubt can become a guide rather than a barrier. The ancient wisdom of Shaolin teaches that mastery begins not by suppressing emotion, but by understanding its message. Each surge carries information about needs, boundaries, or unrecognized truths. When fear appears, it is not a weakness. It is a signal, drawing attention to what requires courage and clarity. Anger is not a flaw, but a spark, illuminating where integrity or justice has been compromised. Doubt whispers questions that the mind might otherwise ignore, offering a chance to refine judgment and deepen understanding. To observe these feelings is the first step in turning them from obstacles into allies. Mindfulness provides the tools for this transformation. Acknowledge the emotion fully, without judgment or avoidance. Feel its presence, trace its origin, and let it exist without resistance. Then release the intensity of its grip as water flows freely once allowed passage. Finally, redirect the energy consciously, channel fear into preparation, anger into constructive action, doubt into reflection and discernment. This practice is alchemy of the soul. By transforming raw emotional energy into conscious guidance, the mind becomes sharper, the body steadier, and the spirit freer. Life no longer feels like a series of reactive storms, but a journey navigated with insight. Each emotional wave, once mastered, becomes a source of intelligence, revealing the subtle currents beneath surface appearances. The path of emotional alchemy is quiet, disciplined, and deeply empowering. It is the art of turning what once unsettled the heart into a compass, guiding every decision, every step, every movement toward greater clarity and inner mastery. Through this practice, emotion ceases to control and begins to illuminate. Within every mind lies a hidden landscape where thoughts and impulses dwell that are often denied or ignored. This is the shadow, the part of ourselves we do not easily face, the suppressed desires, the impulses we call unacceptable, the truths we fear to see. Ancient Shaolin teachings remind us that to walk the path of mastery, one cannot chase only the light, one must venture into the darkness within. The shadow is not an enemy, it is a mirror, reflecting parts of the self that remain unseen. To deny it is to live partially awake, moving through life half blind. To confront it is to gain strength. Fear, envy, greed, or hidden resentment all hold lessons if approached with honesty and discipline. Observing these aspects without judgment transforms them from sources of chaos into instruments of clarity. Shaolin philosophy frames this confrontation not as punishment, but as cultivation. When a warrior faces inner darkness, each moment of recognition builds resilience. The mind grows steadier, less shaken by external disturbances. The heart becomes more discerning, capable of embracing complexity without losing balance. By examining hidden impulses, one learns self-control, seeing where desire and fear might mislead. Shadow work is subtle. It begins with quiet observation, tracing thoughts and feelings to their roots. It requires courage to acknowledge uncomfortable truths, patience to understand their patterns, and discipline to integrate them without letting them dominate. Through this practice, suppressed energy is transformed, providing insight, motivation, and inner alignment. Mastery then is not perfection but awareness. It is the ability to navigate both light and dark within, using understanding as a compass. Confronting the shadow strengthens clarity and fortifies the spirit, turning what was once feared into a source of inner power, guiding every step on the path of true self-mastery. The body is more than a vessel, it is a living map of the mind and spirit. Every tension, every posture, every rhythm of breath carries messages about inner states, often before the mind can even name them. Ancient Shaolin wisdom teaches that true mastery arises when awareness extends beyond thought and reaches into the very core of the body. To move with presence is to move with clarity. Breath control anchors attention, slowing the currents of restless thought and allowing insight to emerge. Posture aligns energy, creating stability that the mind instinctively mirrors. Even the smallest deliberate motion, raising a hand, shifting weight, walking a single step, becomes a practice in mindfulness, connecting inner intention to outer expression. Physical awareness transforms perception. When the body is observed, tension is noticed, energy is directed, and instinct becomes refined. A subtle tightness in the shoulders may reveal unspoken worry. A shallow breath may signal hesitation. Recognizing these signs allows the mind to act in harmony with the body rather than in resistance to it. Movement, when guided by conscious awareness, becomes a language of truth, translating silent currents of intuition into deliberate action. In Shaolin practice, this connection between mind and body is cultivated daily. Martial forms, meditation, and controlled breathing are not mere exercises. They are instruments for attuning perception, sharpening focus, and deepening inner knowing. A warrior grounded in embodied awareness does not react impulsively. Instead, each action flows naturally from observation, presence, and alignment. Through cultivating this awareness, life itself becomes more grounded. Decisions are no longer abstract or detached. They emerge from a harmonious integration of thought, feeling, and bodily knowing. The body, once ignored, becomes a guide. The mind, once scattered, becomes steady. In this unity of awareness, intuition sharpens, presence deepens, and mastery quietly unfolds. Every movement carries weight, even those that appear small or inconsequential. A word spoken, a step taken, a thought entertained, they all send ripples outward, touching circumstances and people in ways often unseen. The ancient Shaolin understood this deeply. Mastery is not measured only by skill, but by the deliberate quality of action. Each choice, no matter how subtle, becomes a reflection of inner discipline and awareness. To act intentionally is to move with purpose rather than impulse. In martial practice, a strike is precise, controlled, and fully aware. In life, choices demand the same care. Hastiness leads to error, distraction to imbalance. When action is rooted in mindfulness, even the simplest decisions align with a greater rhythm, echoing the natural order and the subtle currents of the world. Intentional action is inseparable from integrity. Without alignment to principle and higher purpose, movement becomes hollow, energy dissipated. Shaolin teachings remind us that true power flows from harmony between mind, heart, and deed. When intention and ethics converge, action becomes a force of clarity, shaping circumstances rather than being shaped by them. Small, repeated acts of care, honesty, and presence accumulate into profound transformation. Choosing patience over haste, clarity over confusion, service over self-interest, these are not dramatic gestures, but disciplined refinements that forge mastery in daily life. Even the smallest ripple carries consequence when it originates from awareness. Life, like a martial form, unfolds best when approached deliberately. Each decision, each gesture becomes a rehearsal for deeper understanding, a step toward alignment with the self and the world. The one who moves with conscious intent discovers that freedom is not in acting without restraint, but in acting with purpose, where every choice reflects clarity, discipline, and connection to something greater than the fleeting moment. Life moves in rhythms, often invisible yet deeply felt. Days rise and fall, energy flows and wanes. Moods shift like tides and thoughts ebb and surge. The ancient Shaolin observed these cycles with careful attention, learning that mastery is not only in action but in attunement, moving in harmony with the currents rather than against them. Each day carries its own subtle signature, its own unique energy. Wednesday, for example, holds patterns that may influence thought, focus, and perception in quiet ways. To act without awareness of these rhythms is to push against a river, expending effort with little return. To align with them is to glide with precision, where even small choices resonate far beyond their apparent scale. Understanding cycles requires observation and patience. Emotional waves are not to be resisted, mental fluctuations are not to be feared, and energetic shifts are not to be ignored. Each signals the timing of action, the moments when influence is most effective, the moments when stillness is wiser than movement. The one who waits, who senses the ebb and flow, acts with responsiveness rather than force, allowing circumstances to guide the hand rather than dominate it. In Shaolin practice, timing is as crucial as strength. A strike delivered too early or too late loses its power, yet a strike in rhythm with the moment carries clarity, precision, and impact. Life mirrors this principle. When choices are attuned to cycles, personal, environmental, or energetic, effort becomes effortless, and results emerge naturally. Patience is not inaction, it is disciplined awareness. Responsiveness is not passivity, it is conscious engagement. By honoring the rhythms of mind, body, and world, one learns to act with subtlety and skill, allowing energy to amplify intention and purpose. In this quiet alignment, even ordinary days hold extraordinary potential. Mastery is not measured by what one accumulates, but by what one offers. The ancient Shaolin understood that life's deepest purpose extends beyond self-interest. A mind honed in stillness, a body disciplined through practice, and a heart refined through reflection find their fullest expression when aligned with the well-being of others. True strength emerges not in isolation, but in service. Service does not require grand gestures. A word of kindness, a steady hand to guide, a listening ear, these small acts reflect inner balance and cultivated wisdom. Each conscious contribution sends ripples outward, touching lives in ways unseen, creating harmony where discord once prevailed. In offering help, one exercises discernment, patience, and empathy, the subtle qualities that mark genuine mastery. To contribute consciously is also to cultivate oneself. The energy poured into another's well-being returns amplified, refining perception, tempering ego, and deepening awareness. Spiritual growth is not separate from action, It is woven into the very act of giving, into the mindful alignment of intention with the needs of the world. Every thoughtful deed becomes a reflection of inner clarity, a statement that discipline and insight are not locked within the self, but shared freely with life itself. Ancient practice teaches that the path of the warrior is inseparable from the path of service. Strength without compassion is brittle, skill without purpose is hollow. By grounding mastery in contribution, one learns the subtle art of reciprocity. The more one cultivates wisdom, the more it flows outward. The more one serves, the more inner harmony deepens. Life unfolds in cycles of giving and receiving, each act of service a quiet teacher. The mind grows sharper, the heart steadier, the spirit freer. By aligning mastery with meaningful contribution, the self becomes both instrument and witness, harmonizing personal growth with the unfolding of a larger shared purpose. When the mind is aware, the body present, and the heart disciplined, life begins to shift in ways that are quiet yet profound. Awareness allows observation without reaction. Stillness opens space for insight. Discipline channels energy into purpose. Emotional mastery transforms fear, anger, and doubt into guidance. Shadow work brings hidden impulses into understanding, turning what was once unseen into a source of strength. Embodied awareness grounds intuition in the body, connecting thought, feeling, and action. Intentional movement ensures every choice resonates with principle. Understanding cycles and timing aligns action with the natural flow of energy. Service extends mastery outward, harmonizing personal growth with the world around us. When these principles converge, even a single day can become pivotal. Wednesday carries a subtle energetic signature, and approaching it with conscious presence magnifies its potential. What might seem ordinary can ripple outward, shifting perspectives, decisions, and relationships in ways that appear almost invisible at first, but whose effects are enduring. Small moments of attention, patience, and deliberate action can guide life onto a more aligned and purposeful path. Transformation is rarely sudden. It unfolds gradually, like water carving stone, through repetition, awareness, and careful cultivation. Each principle, awareness, stillness, discipline, emotional alchemy, shadow work, embodiment, intention, timing, and service, serves as a tool, a lens, and a guide. When applied together, they create a resonance that transforms ordinary days into points of awakening. Approach this day with openness, not expectation, with presence, not haste. Observe your thoughts, align your actions, and move intentionally. Allow the currents of energy, wisdom, and insight to guide your choices. By stepping into the day fully conscious, each moment becomes an opportunity for growth, mastery, and quiet transformation. Even subtle shifts, when cultivated mindfully, can shape the course of life in ways both profound and enduring. Life does not shift through chance or struggle alone. True transformation arises when each moment is met with awareness, when choices flow from clarity rather than impulse, and when the inner world is aligned with the subtle rhythms of life. By observing, acting intentionally, and embracing both shadow and light, even the most ordinary days can become stepping stones toward mastery. Take these teachings into your daily life. Pause before reacting. Move with purpose. Reflect on hidden impulses, and allow them to guide rather than control you. Cultivate stillness, discipline, and compassion, and notice how life begins to unfold with a quiet, effortless clarity. Each small practice strengthens insight, steadies the mind, and nurtures the spirit. As you step into each day, remember that mastery is not a distant goal. It is woven into every mindful thought, deliberate action, and conscious choice. Let life become your teacher, and allow each moment to deepen your understanding, patience, and inner peace. If this message resonates, support our community of seekers. Like this video, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, and continue walking the path of awareness, balance, and quiet power. May each day bring you clarity, strength, and the subtle joy of living in harmony with yourself and the world around you.